Welcome to Get Ready to Profit, a show designed for entrepreneurs. Each episode is packed with ideas, tools, and inspiration to help you transition from dependence on a paycheck to financial freedom. Learn how simple it is to create a business of your own on either a part-time or full-time basis. Hear from special guests who share their wisdom, their ideas, and their stories of success with you. Your world is about to change for the better. Get Ready to Profit with Glenn Garnes.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special pre-launch episode of Get Ready to Profit with Glenn Garnes. I'm Mia Zachary, and I'm here in Studio B today at Village Connector Media with Glenn Garnes himself. Glenn, welcome.
Well, Mia, thank you very much for having me on my show.
Happy to do so. I am very interested to find out a little more about you today so that the people listening can find out a little bit more and hopefully want even more after that. So I'm going to just dive deep and start by saying, who are you? Who is Glenn Garnes and what does he stand for?
I hate when you ask that question. You want me to answer that?
I really want you to answer that.
All right, so let me see. Who is Glenn Garnes? Glenn Garnes is a guy who absolutely loves people. And I love seeing people happy. And I know what brings happiness to people. And I find myself wanting to be the source, or at least the catalyst, to create the happiness that people want in their lives. And I guess that would be the best way I could describe who I am.
And I think that was a fantastic description. I believe that the people in your inner circle, as well as the outer circles and all of the ripples that you have created throughout the years, would agree with that assessment.
That's the first time I've expressed it that way. That kind of just rolled off the top of my head in a way I wasn't expecting. That's why I usually hate hearing that question. I don't know what's going to come out.
Well, I'm glad I could be a little unpredictable for you today. So, one of your many core philosophies has to do with mindset. In fact, I would say every one of your philosophies has to do with mindset, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I would say yes. I think that underlying everything that I do is my understanding of the important role that personal development has played in positioning me to create things in my life. And personal development is about adopting the right philosophies and or mindsets that advance you towards your goals, whatever that might be for you. It doesn't have to be a business goal. In this context, Get Ready to Profit is about learning how to move from employee mindset into entrepreneurship. And I know you're going to probably talk about that later.
I am, but since you brought it up, I'm going to ask, what in the world does personal development have to do with business development?
Well, it's not that one has to do with the other. I think that personal development is an indispensable component of anybody's success story in business. You know, there are a lot of people that have talent, they have skills, they have the ability to do things, but until they understand how to have the right attitude, the right mindset, if you will, a lot of their talents go underutilized, unrealized, or just non-performing, because it's not just about knowing what to do, it's the spirit in which you do them, and that's where mindset and philosophy and personal development all come into play.
Well, from your own experience, how did you figure out all of this stuff? I mean, were you an employee at one point?
Yeah, I mean, fresh out of law school, I'm a retired attorney, as you know. Fresh out of law school, I worked with a law firm. I spent just about a year and a half, just about 2 years, but part of it was as a law clerk, so I wasn't a practicing attorney the whole time I was there with them. But I spent about 2 years working for a law firm fresh out of law school. And just to fast forward, if you want to hear the full story, you'll probably hear that on some episode of the show when we officially launch. But I realized that my income goals were not going to be met at the pace at which I wanted to run if I was relying on somebody else to be the source of my paycheck. And so I made the decision very quickly to move out of working for someone else's law firm and started my own.
Well, a lot of people, you know, on that long commute in the morning, or, you know, once they get to their cubicle and have their 27th cup of coffee, would love to be able to trade their lifestyle for the one that you now enjoy. But, you know, most of them don't think it's possible. And if they do have the tiniest seed of hope that it is possible, they have no idea how.
Well, that is exactly why I created Get Ready to Profit, because most people have the ability to create opportunities for themselves at a much higher level than they currently do. Society, unfortunately, conditions most of us to work building someone else's dream. And we very rarely get introduced to the real opportunity, which is to create something of our own. You know, one of the tagline for Get Ready to Profit, of course, is people will pay you more for your ideas than they will for your labor. And that's absolutely true when you stop to think about it.
Wait a minute, say that one more time, because that feels kind of profound to me at the moment.
All right, so people will pay you more for your ideas than they will for your labor. And what I mean by that is that if you stop to think about it, most people are in a job position getting paid only as much as it would take to replace them with somebody else to take over that job. So most employers, most jobs pay a market rate. They pay what the position is worth, not what you're worth.
Okay.
And that's why if you want to get paid what you're worth, you need to be the person coming up with the ideas.
So I don't want to oversimplify, but to maybe put it in terms that people might be familiar with, you're advocating working smarter as opposed to working harder. You're advocating being of service as opposed to trading time for dollars.
Yeah, kind of. And that's a component of entrepreneurship. So let me just say, I'll say it this way. The reason that most people have a job is because somebody else had an idea. And so you want to, in my opinion, be the person with the ideas, the person doing the hiring, the person who is creating the opportunity for something to be manifested, as opposed to just the one doing the administrative day-to-day operations of a business. So that's what entrepreneurship is for me. It's not just owning a business. It's not just being in business. It's a mindset. And that mindset is what leads you to being able to create the lifestyle that you're truly worthy of.
Well, since you brought it up, let's just get right down to it. The name of your show is Get Ready to Profit, and when people hear profit, they immediately think about money. So can people really get rich by way of entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. In fact, I think that entrepreneurship is the fastest way to create wealth. Now, let's be clear about what we are describing when we describe wealth, because wealth doesn't mean or doesn't equal money at all times. Money is part of wealth, but wealth for me is the ability to live the lifestyle that you deserve, the lifestyle you want for yourself. Whether that means being able to get up in the morning and read a book versus getting up in the morning and going into rush hour traffic to go earn a paycheck. You know, whether it means being able to have the things that you would like in your life versus having to wait because you're not able to generate the resources necessary to have what you really want, whatever that might be. I'm not just talking about materialistic things. Some of the things that I invest in have to do with learning, personal development. You know, all those things require access to cash. And those things require access to cash because cash money is the medium by which we exchange value with each other. Now we're going to be doing a whole radio show episode when the podcast officially launches on people's attitudes towards money, what money really is. So I'm not going to go into detail other than to say that money is an idea. It is a symbol that represents an exchange of value between two people that have offered service, you know, one to the other or both for that matter. So wealth is just being able to create the circumstances that you want in your life, whether it's being able to travel to exotic places, not for the sake of traveling, but for the sake of that experience. Whether it's being able to take time to stop and think and come up with new ideas. Most people today, they're so busy in rat race pursuit, they don't have time to even stop and think about what they're doing. They get up in the morning, they jump in the shower, they get dressed, go to work, get in rush hour traffic, and they go work for 8 hours, and then they come back home and they start the whole thing over the next day, and it's almost on autopilot. They don't even give any thought to what they're doing. imagine if you could step back and say, you know what, today I think I'll just take a day to think.
Wow. That's probably like a foreign language to a lot of people listening right now because they relate to the rat race.
Well, one of the things I learned very early on in life was it's a great idea to learn more than one language. In fact, I got hired at my first law firm because I spoke Spanish and Portuguese. So if the language of wealth or the language of entrepreneurship, the mindset of entrepreneurship is something that's foreign to you, you need to learn that language. If you have a desire to create something more than a paycheck.
I have personal knowledge that you have been offering value for quite some time now. If I recall correctly, you built your law practice once you left somebody else's firm and created your own idea. And you built that entire successful practice on exchanging value, on being of service, on an entrepreneurial mindset. How long have you been doing this now?
Doing what? Because I'm no longer practicing law.
I realize you're no longer practicing law, but you are still introducing people to the universal laws that will help them move forward in their life. So how long have you been helping people shift their minds and ideas?
Okay. So I began studying formally the personal development. I was introduced to the concept of personal development back in 1991. I probably started where most people started. I bought the Anthony Robbins Personal Power DVD, or they actually back then they were cassettes. But I didn't really immerse myself and do that consistently the way that it needs to be done. I started really studying in earnest in approximately 2004. And since 2004 till now, I've been, we're in 2015 currently, I've been relatively consistent. As time has gone on, I've gotten even more consistent with my own study, and I consider myself to be a student, not an expert on personal development. But I adopt a philosophy of sharing what I've learned with others without waiting until I'm a recognized expert. And I believe that it was probably about 2.5, 3 years after I started. So it was probably about 2006, 2007 when I started actively and regularly teaching the principles that I was learning. Because I got so excited about them. It was like, why didn't anyone tell me this in high school or in college or even after I graduated from law school? It was like a whole new world once I realized what was there, and I still didn't even fully appreciate it. It was just exciting to me at a level that was different. But it wasn't until probably, I'd say, the last 5 to 7 years that I fully appreciated that what we teach here and what I practice is absolutely the key to generating wealth in all aspects of your life, not just monetarily, not just financially. In fact, sometimes the financial reward of wealth is the last thing to show up, but it's the wealth of abundance in your mindset and other things like that, socially, mentally, all those spiritually. When you get your spiritual and your social and your professional wealth in place, the money just starts to flow. And then the money just becomes a tool by which you create other things. So again, I would say that it's been, I know that was a long way around to the question. It
usually is with you.
But this isn't a deposition where we're trying to get to the bottom line of, I'm telling the story of this to show you. And that's a good point. One of the things I learned after thinking that I could take a course and just be successful, that was when I bought the first personal power tapes from Anthony Robbins. I thought that was an end to a journey. And that after I studied that stuff and knew it, that was going to be enough. It wasn't until 2004 till now that I realized that personal development is not a destination. It is the journey. It is a lifestyle. It is something that takes place consistently until you no longer have physical presence on the planet. And then, since I'm not sure what happens after that, it may be that you continue in personal development even after that. But my point is, for finite purposes, we all know that we have physical existence that starts and ends at some point in time. Personal development is something that you should make a lifestyle choice. Make it be something that you do consistently, every day, consistently over your entire lifetime.
Because given the lifetime that we have, why? Spend it doing things that you hate, that make you feel miserable, and you spread that misery to everyone around you. One of the things that I respect and admire about you is your passion for sharing these tips and advice and action steps for people to move from the employee mindset into an entrepreneurship lifestyle. So I'm curious, of all the different ways that you could share this passion with people. I know that you've given presentations. I know that you've taught classes. Now, even though you've had a radio program before, why did you choose this platform for Get Ready to Profit?
Well, I love the radio. We have a TV studio, and I love that too. And we have a radio studio. But I find that the radio studio has the potential to reach more people. You can't watch a TV show while you're in your car on the way to work. And frankly, being on the way to work is exactly where I want to meet people, because if I can get them preparing themselves for a better future by having their own idea, then I can help them to avoid the frustration of being in a job situation. We have been, as I said, conditioned by society to believe that in so-called job security. The truth is that jobs are anything but secure. Again, Get Ready to Profit is about teaching you how to change the view scope through which you analyze and assess opportunities in life. Everyone always tells me, well, Glenn, entrepreneurship, being in business isn't for everybody. Well, you know what? That's true, but it's for a lot more people than actually pursue it, because society tells you that, and you think when you hear that they're talking to you, that, well, entrepreneurship must not be for me because it's not for everybody. Well, you're not everybody. You're you. You need to explore entrepreneurship to see if it is for you. Just like you can't say that blue suits aren't for everyone, you got to go try it on and see. And so what I guess I'm looking to do, the reason I chose the audio, the podcast format, is because more people can make it more convenient for them to get this information. And I truly believe that the foundation of wealth for the majority of people is going to come from an understanding of having an entrepreneur mindset. I mean, think about this for a minute. I did a PowerPoint video that address things that the wealthy do that we don't. Actually, there were three things that the wealthy do that we as employee mindset people typically don't do. And if you look at those three things, it's really kind of dramatic when you compare those three things to what the average individual does. And let me just quickly share those with you, because like I said,
I'm interested.
We're gonna make it possible for people to get access to this. In fact, some of you may have already gotten access to it if you are hearing this lesson as a result of having signed up to be notified about the pre-launch, or about the official launch of the podcast, which is what we're doing this episode about. Turn this into a personal development lesson. We're going to get to what this is all about, which is what is this show and what's in it for you to listen to the show. So the first thing that wealthy people do that most of us don't is they have a healthy relationship with the idea of money. They understand the role that money plays in facilitating the things that they're seeking to create in their lives. They see money as a tool, not something to be possessed, but something to be used to facilitate the creation of the lifestyle that they want.
That sounds like you're going to cover several episodes with that topic alone.
Well, let me tell you, most of us have an unhealthy relationship with the idea of money. We've been taught that money is the root of all evil. We've been taught that money doesn't grow on trees. Money doesn't buy happiness, all these different things. So we've been taught to basically shun and push aside money, because we don't realize that money is an idea. It is a symbol that represents an exchange of value. Now, if you are exchanging value, meaning that somebody is getting something out of what you do and they're exchanging money with you for it, why would you push that away? Because it means that you've been of service to someone when they give you money. So here's the point. We don't have time to cover that in detail, but the point is that part of moving from employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset is to understand the role that money plays in creating the lifestyle that you want. So that's what the wealthy understand. They understand the role that money plays as a tool in creating the lifestyle that they want. The second thing that wealthy people do is that they have a definite plan for how they're going to acquire wealth. Now, having a definite plan for how you're going to acquire wealth, why is that important? Because unless you have a way to do it, it has a tendency to just happen haphazardly. When you go on vacation, you don't just determine you're going to go on vacation. You come up with a plan. You plan it out. You decide what hotel you're going to, where you're going to visit, what you're going to do on vacation. Are you going to go on a cruise? You're going to fly? You're going to drive? You plan that out. Most people don't really have a plan for how to create, a definite plan for how to create wealth in their lives. And then they're stunned that they don't create the wealth. So wealthy people, and let's remind ourselves, wealth is not just about the money. When I say wealth, I'm talking about people who have been able to create the lifestyle that they deserve without violating the rights of others. Meaning they didn't steal it, they didn't con someone, they didn't diminish somebody else's value by acquiring wellness resources themselves. So
they collaborated as opposed to competing.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Well, no. What I'm saying is when I say violating the rights of others, when we think, let's think about Bernie Madoff. He acquired his wealth by stealing from other people. Someone selling drugs, someone stealing, robbing banks, all these things that you can do. Those are examples of people who have acquired wealth, but they did it in a way that was violative of other people's rights.
Okay.
Wealthy people learn how to offer value so that people willingly share economic resources with them to get the value exchange.
Okay.
So
but you have to have a plan before you can do that.
That's right. That's right. You have to know what is it you're going to do that provides value to someone else in a way that causes them to share their monetary resources with you. So
and what's
that's
the third thing.
That's why it's important to get ideas. That's what we're talking about. Business entrepreneurship is an idea, or you create an idea that allows you to create that wealth opportunity for yourself. The third thing that wealthy people do is they don't rely on one income stream. They build multiple streams of income for themselves. And this is where entrepreneurship is most powerful, understanding the importance of not being dependent primarily or solely, like most of us are, on a paycheck. I mean, think about it. Most people get up in the morning not because they love what they do, but because there are some bills to be paid. And if the bills were paid, you'd go do something completely different. Maybe you'd stay with your job if you really like what you're doing, but I can tell you from personal experience, most people have a job because they need the money, not because they want to do whatever it is that they're doing. They rationalize and convince themselves that they would, because otherwise, why do they retire? Think about how much emphasis is put on getting to 65 and retiring. If you really loved what you were doing, why wouldn't you want to do that for the rest of your life? I don't plan on ever retiring. How can I retire from teaching people how to create the lifestyle that they want to live? I'll be doing that to 178. And only because I haven't been able to fathom the concept of living beyond 178. I'm still working on that. A little more personal development to do. But the point I'm trying to make is that wealthy people understand how to create multiple toolkits for themselves. If money is a tool, shouldn't you have more than one tool?
Absolutely.
If you showed up for work and you only had one tool, but you really needed 5, how long would you be employed? So we have to stop apologizing for wanting to understand and use money as a vehicle to create the lifestyle that we want, as long as we're not violating other people's rights in acquiring it. So That's why Get Ready to Profit is so important, because here we are teaching you how to change your mindset so that you can change the results that you're getting. You can stop missing opportunities that are all around you. The fact is that there's never been a better time in history to create an income opportunity for yourself because of the technologies that exist. Look at this technology we have here, this wonderful technology of podcasting, where we can record an audio file, put it out on the internet, and have millions of people around the world be able to immediately access it. That's an incredible tool. We didn't have that 20 years ago. Can you imagine how much effort it would take for you 20 years ago to reach an audience the size of the internet? So again, that concept is lost on a lot of people because they've been taught to think about going to work for somebody else. Most of the people who will be listening to this radio show when we launch are going to be able to take the talents that they deploy currently for a paycheck, and be able to create multiple streams of income from doing the same thing they do for an employer for themselves. And that's the entrepreneur mindset, is learning how to gain leverage and scalability in delivering service, the maximum amount of service to the maximum number of people.
Wow.
When you work for an employer, you have one person that's responsible for your paycheck and one person that you're delivering service to that's exchanging value. You've got customers that are of the company, but you're not exchanging value directly with those customers where they're giving you money for what you did for the company. The company is the sole person determining your value. When you put yourself in a position to service the customer, now you open up all the possibilities for yourself in having that direct relationship with the customer.
That's fantastic. So I love the fact that you are going to help facilitate a lot more happy people on the planet.
And that is what gets me excited in the morning. When I get out of bed and I know that I can share information that is going to change people's perspectives in a way where they're going to see new opportunities for themselves that they didn't find out about when they were in high school and college and graduate school. They didn't find out from their employer or anybody else, but they start seeing the possibilities for a better lifestyle, and then we are able to provide them with the tools and the information, the resources to get it done. That, for me, is the ultimate value exchange.
Well, I don't want anyone listening to miss this incredible opportunity to basically listen in to the best that you have to give. So, mark your calendars. July 9th is the date that Get Ready to Profit with Glenn Garnes is launching. But there's a couple surprises in store that I happen to know about and you don't yet. So you probably want to go ahead, fill in that little form, and get on the mailing list so that you know about all of the special events that are pre-launching the pre-launch that pre-launches the launch. But, before we go there, I want to just ask you, you have so much to give, so much information, so much knowledge, so much experience. How in the world are you going to deliver this? What is Get Ready to Profit going to look like, and how much of my time do I get to spend with you?
All right, so the show is going to be weekly. It's going to be a 30-minute show, and we're already pushing up against the 30 minutes just in the pre-launch, so you know that it's going to be packed with some good information. PACT for me is an acronym, by the way. So PACT means practical, actionable content that keeps you evolving daily. Practical, actionable content that keeps you evolving daily. And that is what lifestyle is all about. We have to be in an evolutionary mode at all times. So our goal is to do the show weekly for 30 minutes to give you information, resources, and people who will inspire you to take the right action, to move forward and do the right things, to create for yourself what you deserve. And especially as it relates to using the entrepreneurship vehicle, the mindset of entrepreneurship, to create the lifestyle that you really deserve. See, right now, most of us are settling for what society thinks we should have, as opposed to going after what we really want. We settle for what we think we can get instead of going after what we really want. I want to empower people to go after what they really want and stop settling for what they think they can get.
Nice. Wow. I have a whole completely different reason for looking forward to Fridays now.
Well, you're going to have a lot of fun listening to this show, and I have a feeling that you're going to be a featured guest on a frequent basis. But
now you tell me.
Yeah, we're gonna make that happen. But
I want to ask.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, because you're on a roll. I'm going to let you go.
Well, I just wanted to mention something. Right now, this episode of the radio show is being put out on the internet in advance of the actual launch, which you indicated was on July 9th. I want to invite you to go to getreadytoprofit.com. Getreadytoprofit.com. And when you get there, before the launch is official, you'll see a one-page website where you can fill in your information to get on the mailing list. The mailing list is going to be used to notify you of other events that are going to be taking place as a lead up to the official launch.
Shh, don't tell
We're
them
not going
exactly
to tell
what they
you.
are. Not
We
yet.
won't tell you everything, but there's a good reason why you're going to want to be part of the launch. And so we want to encourage you to go fill out the form and join the mailing list right now so that we can notify you of all the different opportunities that you have to be part of actually making this happen. So I want to get as many people involved in this as possible, not just listeners, but people who will go out and tell friends and colleagues and family members to listen in with us so that we can have the maximum impact on the maximum number of people and start changing people's lives in a way that allows them to create the lifestyle they want. And you have the ability to be a part of it.
Yeah. If you share the things that Glenn's going to be teaching with your friends and your family, and you all choose to adopt an entrepreneur mindset, think about how much more time and the quality of that time that you're going to be able to spend with those friends and that family.
And that's the point. We want to put people in a position to have new options that they haven't considered in the past and to make sure that they don't miss the opportunity to create the lifestyle that they deserve.
All right, so save some of it, will you? Because you've given a lot of good stuff in the last couple of minutes. I thank you for the time to sit with me, get to know you, and get to know more about this incredible radio show. And for those of you out there listening, one more time, one of the many things you're going to be learning about is 3 ways that the wealthy think differently than you do at the moment. Because when you adopt these ideas and you plan out your multiple streams of income, you better get ready to profit because it's all coming to you in abundance. So go to getreadytoprofit.com. Get on the mailing list so you can get all the good stuff that Glenn has planned for you. And we'll see you on July 9th for the official launch. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to Get Ready to Profit with Glenn Garnes. Glenn invites you to join the Partners in Profit Club, the free Entrepreneurs Affinity Group, which includes complimentary digital downloads, membership in Small Business CEO Lounge, and their private social network. Receive advance notification of events, resources, and other information members can use to advance their projects. Visit GetReadyToProfit.com.